Hey, what's up? This is Will with Abysmal Hymns. I got my friend Victor with me. And, we could bitch about the world today, but I figured we would talk about what things have made us happy in the past. And it makes me happy thinking about it today, too. Our top 10 favorite toys growing up. Um, I guess I'll get things started. I actually have one with me. If you're a toy, like super toy collector nerd, you'll probably get pissed off that this does not have the original pants. But when you're 8 years old in the 80s, you don't really think, well, one day I should keep this in the packaging so it'll be worth a bajillion dollars. But
Well,
no,
if it doesn't have the pants or the packaging,
yes, no good. So here it is. He's coming through the trees. It is the
Amigo Hulk.
Mako Hulk. Yes.
Yeah.
He has the goofy pants on,
Okay.
which those are the only pants that fit. He, much like
Like from
my
a from a
from
goofy figure.
a goofy figure, yeah. He does not have the purple pants. They just weren't made to be played with like that, I don't think, I mean, I remember his pants had a drawstring and they were falling down anyways. And
Yep.
these are elastic band, it just
And they
made
were that and
sense.
they were that purple color.
Yeah, they were purple. They had the frayed ends. I don't know why they gave him a drawstring for his pants, because I mean, that was the first thing to go, you know?
Yeah. A chain for a belt would have made sense, but he'd probably break through that
Yeah,
too. So.
yeah. And some of the versions that came after that had him wearing like a frayed white shirt, like a cloth shirt. But that version did not have, he was not wearing a shirt to the best that I remember. I don't know. You're talking over 40 years ago, so I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and it's the Hulk because when you told me this was going to be one of the subjects, so one of the first things that came to mind for me was the Hulk, except it was the 12 inch. Okay. And down the road from where we lived, um, there was a Lionel Play World. And I had seen this big Hulk. It's 1978. I had seen this huge Hulk. To me, it was huge. I was a little guy, anyways, probably almost as big as me. And I wanted it. And mom and dad said no. Now, I'd already had I had Spider-Man and I had Batman. I couldn't keep Batman's gloves on. These are the Migos. Um, I didn't have Robin, and see, I had one of them. I can't remember, but the Spider-Man and the Batman were my favorite. I had one other, and I can't remember. So one day, my dad had said, "Listen, the Hulk is going to be um, somewhere. I think he said it's going to be at Lionel Play World. It's here in the newspaper. It says it here in the newspaper. Come look at it." And he had the newspaper up in front of him. And I walked over there and he said, "See right here?" And I looked and they had bought it. It was out of the package and it was, there. And for some reason, even at that age, I always kept things real neat, real clean. So I had it up until, oh, I know what the other one was. It was the Superman, the big Superman, the movie Superman.
mhm.
So it was just the Mego Spider-Man, the Mego Batman, the Superman, the tall 12-inch Superman, because I love the movie, of course. Parents took me to that movie. And the Hulk. And I had the Hulk and Superman until probably 2000 or 99. And I sold them along with a bunch of other toys that I had to these guys who were starting um, a toy place. Um, and like every collector now, I regret it, but it was mint. It's like no scratches. No, the Superman was mint. Um, I don't know how I played with those things. Didn't get them messed up. But
Was the
when you brought,
Superman the Mego one? Was he wearing like those like plastic boots.
Yes. Yep. It was the big. He looked a little like Christopher Reeve.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember his cape though. They had a problem around the cape. Just the material frayed. You know, and there probably was some light scratching on the boots. Um, they weren't made for walking, but
No, I remember some of those Mego figures. They had the snaps on the back of their like they had a like onesie on basically, and they
he
would
and
snap.
Superman had two snaps. Um, he he had two snaps. There's one at the top and then down at the waist because it was obviously a bigger figure. But the other two, the Spider-Man and the Batman, we had moved. And in the interim, my parents had put all our stuff in the storage space. And this storage space, believe it or not, still exists. Um, and we had come back a few months later and rats had gotten into some of the boxes and they got into my toy box and chewed the hands off both Spider-Man and Batman. No
Mhm,
more, their crime fighting days were over.
mhm.
I mean, you know,
Oh.
and so we just threw them away.
Okay, so
But
you
yeah,
can
I'm glad
count
that was good.
Spider-Man, and are you counting Hulk and Superman as your one and number two in your top 10 toys, or is that going to be one for Hulk?
Just we could say the Hulk.
Okay, Hulk is
Yep.
one.
But I don't know what number to place him, but
You don't have to. We're not ranking them. It's just
okay.
because I couldn't do that. I mean,
But that's funny that you and I both had the same idea. It wasn't planned. My Hulk was bigger than your Hulk though.
right. Well, this was. I mean, I didn't want a bigger Hulk because I wanted everything kind of in scale. Like if
Hmm.
I was playing even so, this Hulk I would play with those smaller Spider-Man figures. Remember they were built kind of like Star Wars figures.
Oh yeah.
He was
And
okay to play with
Spider-Man,
them, but I didn't want
go
him
ahead.
bigger,
Yeah.
or just wouldn't be. You don't want a King Kong looking Hulk fighting Superman.
So that was a Spider-Man, the smaller Spider-Man, where it was just they didn't even bother to color in anything. It was
No, and his he was like his arms were blue. I don't think his
yeah,
head moved. That was barely moved. Like
right,
you have these Spider-Man now with like 72 points of articulation. That guy had maybe four. And you didn't. I
right,
remember the Green Goblin came in that line, and you didn't want to move his legs too much, or they would like he would break.
right. Yep.
So, I mean, I guess
What was
that's
your
the pros and cons of things now is they tend to break less. Although for my number two, this guy has held up pretty well. He is a little more recent than the Mego figures. He's from the Thundercats
Oh
line.
yeah.
I had to
Now
look up his name because I always just think of him as the devil because that's what I mean, that's why I kept him because he just looks like Baphomet.
I
Um,
don't remember. I don't I don't remember that one.
his name was Mongor. He's from the Thundercats, and
Everything had to have or.
he was a hitchhiker, obviously.
He was
Um,
a
he
he's
jack
a
yeah a
thunder
jack
hike
off. You're right.
thunder
He
hiker.
brought the thunder. But yeah, I mean, look at those feet. He has the goat feet, and
And everything had the or. You had to when you named something, it had to end with or.
yeah, yeah, or
So
O.
he was thunder hiker.
Yeah, he was a. I guess he was a bad. He was obviously not a good guy. I don't remember him on the cartoon. I never really watched the
I don't think
cartoon a
I
hell
ever
of a
seen
lot.
that figure. He's probably worth
You've
about four or
seen
five
him,
thousand dollars.
yeah. You've seen him, but I normally like have him like at the bottom of like a cross and a bunch of candles, because he looks like the devil. But I
So
don't.
Baphomet thunder hiker.
Yeah, the Thunder Baths. He was
I
yeah.
don't remember that. I don't remember him at all.
You've seen that figure though before. I've
Yeah.
had him
Oh no
set
no.
up in every house I've been in.
Right. Yeah. You have
My little
your little
section. My little
yeah
section.
your little ritual section. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I got two more that I could show, but now give me a number two from you.
Well, one thing that really stands out after um my parents took me to the drive-in to see Star Wars, the original trilogy, not the Farce Awakens or anything like that.
Mhm.
I we went to again Lionel Playworld because Toys R Us I don't think had hit our area yet. I don't think they'd moved into our area yet. And I loved Lionel. I liked it better than Toys R Us. That might be sacrilege to some,
It
but
was bigger, wasn't it? Weren't they bigger or no?
it was. I couldn't tell you because my perception at that age. I think the last one around this area closed maybe late '80s, early '90s, and I think I only went in there a few times as an adult. Um, I can't I can't remember. It, you know, I do know this after seeing Star Wars, went to Lionel Play World, and I just remember those original figures, just both sides of the aisle, you know. Um, and when you're little, you're looking up and it's just walls of figures. Um, and I got the Walrus Man. And I picked him because of the colors. I didn't get Luke or anything like that. I picked him because of the colors. I thought he was neat. And so that was my first one. And I would say that, those are the ones from childhood that immediately stand out. So every time I see Walrus Man at a toy show or something like that, boom, straight to the memory zone.
Did you ever get any of the remakes of Walrus Man?
No, I didn't know there were one.
Yeah, there are. There's a couple. I've seen one. There's that line of Star Wars figures that look like they're about the same size as those Marvel figures that started coming, Marvel Legends figures. They're
Okay.
almost in similar packaging.
When were
Uh,
they released?
apparently, recently, past 4 or 5 years, because I saw one at Target up
Okay.
down here. Um, yeah, they had him, a Jawa, and they're kind of like mock packaging to look like the original packaging, but they're bigger.
Right.
They're like the size of the goat guy. Not,
We'll need to get into remakes. We talked about that too.
yeah, okay. So, uh, here's another one of mine. So this is the first. There's a couple plushies on the list. This I don't even know who made him,
I love it.
but he's a King Kong,
I love
and
it.
he's been restuffed a couple times by my grandparents. So I mean, they've been dead, at least 10 years. So I mean,
When did you
probably
get that one?
I mean, I was probably 3 or 4.
Okay.
So we're talking a baby.
Wow.
So that's hung on to him for almost 50 years. So that yeah, I mean, he was
So,
obviously well made enough to. I mean, his face is still intact, but he was from that, I guess, 70s movie.
which was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
That was a great Kong.
Hmm.
Much better than Peter Jackson's.
Yeah, and I mean, there were some scenes where he looked better than the Ray Harryhausen Kong, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some people won't like
Now,
that, but
well,
that's how it
so
is.
how are you able to hang on to these guys for so long? I mean, I have stuff too, but it's all shelved.
Yeah, where I
But
just
how are
I
you?
keep mine out. I don't know. They've just survived all the moves. Because you're
Yeah,
talking 20 moves at least, over the years.
that's it.
Yeah, probably. Maybe
Well, so
more.
if
Who
you
knows?
so if you want to go back to baby times, I just so happen I didn't plan this. This was actually in
Is it
my crib when someone gave this to me when I was born.
is it one of the Beatles?
It's just this great little vinyl guy,
Okay.
and I had this.
He's wearing a
when I was
diaper.
born.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think, and he's hiding a choo-choo train.
Oh, all right.
I don't know why he's hiding a choo-choo train.
It's his caboose.
He's he's hiding his caboose,
All right.
and you know,
That is
I
a
got
bizarre
this.
little thing.
It is. I was gonna build a
Is it
little
made like a
showcase.
Cupid doll?
Well,
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's a vinyl toy, and this has managed obviously to stay with me for some well over, half a century.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure.
it was in the crib. My mom told me. Obviously, you wouldn't remember that.
Mm.
And she said I didn't put this down for like the first year. So you bring that up. So this just sits on my shelf, and I was going to build a little shrine to it as well. Um, I need to get a little Baphomet, I guess, to put next to it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that
But
guy's kind of creepy. I mean, he looks like should dress him up like one of the Beatles, you know?
well, I
Weird
mean
two eyes.
his smile is a little.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get his little
He's
asinine.
almost, his smile is almost like one of those Labubus.
His the color. I'm just amazed that the color has hung on.
Right, because if he came out now, he would be black.
Right, and that's racist.
Right.
Yeah. What would I be
Well,
doing with the? Yeah. What would I be
well,
doing with the little black one?
they
Let me
could have.
put him back on the shelf before he falls. And we have a lot more in common than we thought.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll say
Oh,
that he's your number three.
three, yeah.
Three. So I guess this will be I got my order all confused because I've got
Have you got all these? You've got all these on the top 10 with you?
no,
Okay.
no. I'm getting the ones that I have with me out of the way first, and then
Okay.
some of them are a little more abstract. Like I don't even know who necessarily made them.
Mm.
Um, so this guy, he's another classic. An ancient Curious George from the
Okay.
Mesopotamian area.
You
He
should
was,
show people your tattoo to go along with
oh
it.
yeah, well there he is. So
He's
yeah, so he's kind of like a family heirloom. Um,
yeah, that's great.
right.
Now, what age did you have that?
Let's
10
see.
years ago?
Yeah. You can't even really see the year on this tag. It's so faded. It just says that he's made out of polyurethane.
I think Disney, um,
He's by Knickerbocker.
oh, which Knickerbocker came out with some great stuff, like
Right.
starting in the 50s and 60s. And they would come out with like Huckleberry Hound, the vinyl face
Right.
with and the plush bodies and stuff. They didn't look anything like the cartoons,
You
but
know, the
they
one that I always wanted was, and I don't know who made him, maybe Knickerbocker, but remember Skippy the monkey? He had a yellow suit on, he had a banana in one, he had a
oh
vinyl face
oh yeah.
and a yellow suit and a
Yep.
hat, and he was a chimp. Always wanted him. I don't know why I never had him.
I'm thinking I think Disney bought the Curious George IP, and they're going to release a movie, call it By Curious George.
Right, exactly.
Keep in line with the stuff they've been putting out.
Right. I think, it's fair. It's fair. Because the man with the yellow hat, I'm not sure why he was hanging around Curious George to begin with, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Okay, what you got next?
So there were just so many things I'm flipping through. Huge. How would you know? I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Um, the next one would be, so it's a plastic Spider-Man. He's about this tall. I've only seen him out in the wild for sale one time, and that was at Toylanta just recently, back here in March. And I don't think the guy had it for too much. I think it was only like $30, but everything wasn't with it. It was Spider-Man about this tall, and I mean almost zero articulation whatsoever. But his arm would go up, and you would put the cable that came with him, between your
Mm.
couch and the love seat, and he would just slide back and forth. I might even think he had some pulley system or something where you pulled him up. I can't remember, but I wore that thing out. I wore that thing out.
Yeah, I remember there was one where you would push something on his back and he would zip towards whatever he was anchored to.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same one or not. There was also one that was like a parachute and you could
Yes.
throw him up.
Yep. And then this I hadn't been able to find either. This isn't included, but um it was a web shooting kit and it sucked. But
Shot shaving cream, that one.
no, it had this plastic wristband, okay? And this crappy little thing that you're supposed to press. And then it came with the webbing,
Hmm.
and the webbing was like a tube, like a small tube of just some kind of clear sticky glue or something. And you put it in this holder and you press it. And I'm this little kid. I'm expecting to just start blasting this crap all over the place. And you press down on it and it just squeezes all over your arms and wrists. It doesn't go anywhere.
No.
I wasn't shooting or swinging off anything. I
Uh-uh.
mean, I was in the bathroom trying to clean it off. It it was a terrible toy, but it was Spider-Man. So
Right, it seemed cool at the time. Which
yeah.
is kind of like and I wouldn't classify this as toy, but I mean, we all remember the Underoos. Like the
Oh my
Spider-Man
God.
one was iconic because I remember there were some that would actually have the person's picture on the shirt, and that was trash, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think the Darth Vader one actually had a picture of Darth Vader on it.
Are you confused? Are you confusing it with the plastic costumes?
No, no, no.
Because those had the same thing. Like you'd
Yeah.
have a Darth Vader mask, but then his
Yeah, no,
face would be
that
on.
was garbage too.
Yeah.
Would not have those. I wouldn't wear them as a kid. I would not. If you had your
No.
face on my costume, I would not wear it.
No. No. I had the Spider-Man underoos, and they came. Um, I've been trying to find these. Somebody's got this stuff. Somebody's got it. There was a pair of glasses that looked like Spider-Man's eyes,
Hmm.
right? So I had obtained those somehow. My parents got them, and then I had the Spider-Man underoos, and of course the web shooters didn't work. But you know, I tried to climb up everything.
Yeah, I mean, why not? When you're a kid, that just makes the most sense.
Yeah. Well, what underoos did you have? Like, let me imagine Hulk.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't have the Hulk because remember the Hulk had the Hulk's picture on it. So I
Oh,
had
see, I didn't.
separate Hulk shirts, but I did not have the Hulk underoos because I wanted it to look like a big green chest. I guess I don't know. I
But
wanted it
the
just
Batman
visible.
underoos had a Flash and a Batman.
Yeah, I did not. I had Spider-Man and Captain
Okay.
America,
Okay.
and I think.
What'd you use as a shield?
Oh, I didn't. I just wore it. Like Spider-Man, Captain America, I was not as much into. I could appreciate him, and I knew that he was in the Avengers. I never read the comic books though of Captain
So you didn't try
America.
to have a shield or anything like that?
No, I mean I had a Captain America figure that was that same company that made the Spider-Man. They
Okay.
had a Captain America in that line. I think he was one of the few. I think it was Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, and I want to say Green Goblin were the only ones that I remember coming out from that line.
Okay.
Um,
And if you wore underoos today, what would you use as the shield then?
I mean, once again, I don't think I really would ever feel compelled to represent Captain America in some type of underused cosplay, just because I don't really have much of an emotional connection to him. I mean, I appreciate him as the kind of patriarch of Marvel, um, but I mean, I would want Thor underused, you know?
And then what would you use as what
A
mirror
hammer?
mirror?
Yeah,
Yeah, the hammer.
I'm sure that they would probably come with one, like a big inflatable Mjolnir. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I don't, I didn't really have that many Thor things as a kid. The first Thor I got was one of the ones from that 90s Secret Wars. Remember that line?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
It was whatever. Well, he wasn't in that line, but he came in the one after that, where they were like the same people that made the X-Men figures, I think. But he was a
Okay.
really blocky, dumb-looking Thor. But
Yeah.
that
I
was
didn't
as good as
have
we were gonna get.
I didn't buy any, obviously I was out of toys by then when I think when that line it may have come out in like 88 or 89, right?
Yeah,
But
something like that.
I remember going and picking up the Venom, or was it just the Black Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's just Black Spider-Man.
So I picked up the Black Spider-Man and the regular Spider-Man from that line. And those are the only ones I bought. But I liked the 0 points of articulation. articulation.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, I guess it's just because it goes back to childhood. I'm not a huge fan of the all the articulation, you know?
Right. Well, I think it makes them first hard to stand up a lot of times. Because their like ankles are weak, and
Yeah.
if they're too
Like
articulated,
like us when we get older.
yeah, it's hard to stand up. Um, and it tends to be characters like Spider-Man and Deadpool and those guys that have all the articulation. I have that one big Hulk somewhere. He's probably in the closet, but he's pretty articulated. Whereas like I think his toes bend and his fingers bend. But that's it. That's not
You've had that one for a while.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I always like the big guys, so they never really needed to be that articulated. Like I can't
Well,
imagine a Thor with a bunch of articulation or like a 90 points of articulation thing. What would that even look like? I mean, yeah.
I guess if you're a collector and you want to put them in certain poses on your shelf, I like the action figures, but I think at this point, like if you had the statues to me, I think would be better to collect because I mean, let's face it, the figures, they're just sitting on the shelf. We're not going to be setting up army battles with it.
But it's
Um,
always good to have that option if you need it,
okay. Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
Because a lot
I
of
guess
the,
you need articulation when you go into battle.
right, yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess otherwise, then the statues just are like using those overgrown little pewter Dungeons and Dragons miniatures.
Yeah. I like the female statues though, because they're always erect and
I guess it depends on who it is. I mean, I remember they had a really good Red Sonja at Oxford. It was in that big
yes,
case.
that stayed there forever.
Yeah, it's probably still there.
Yeah. And they're probably not.
Yeah, it's just standing there. The building's empty.
I
I don't
haven't been
know.
by there.
Are they still open? Who knows?
I don't know. I know that you and I used to go there weekly, it seemed.
Right.
And there was that one lady, she was just pleasure to deal with. And
She reminded me of the witch from the Dark Crystal. Is that who it was?
yeah, she did. She had the same hair.
Like Hagatha?
Yeah. Yeah, she's probably still there. People like that never get fired or lose their job.
No, because where else would they go?
They just continue pissing people off.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her becoming a librarian, but I really couldn't imagine her working anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't really know much.
I never talked to her enough to find out what she knew about anything, really.
I tried to
Um,
take her out for dinner one night, and she wouldn't do it.
you know, she had a big Magic the Gathering game probably lined up at the old folks' home.
After AA.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So,
we're gonna have to do a part two on this because we're almost out of time. So catch us for part two as we get into our other five picks. See you soon.